It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
Obey, obey, obey when the man comes knocking on your window on your car and says, you be mine. And if you're at a checkpoint with a bunch of guys with guns, he may be right. You know, so we need to talk about this Fourth Amendment thing and how it applies not only as we're traveling around, but in our homes. This is getting bad. I mean, I have been saying for years, I just go, can we hurry up and get to a police state so we can leave? We're there. So I'd like to leave. Thank you very much. And one of the people that it really has been on the front lines of this, we've had him on the air since '03. My good friend and fellow libertarian, Terry Bressi. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Terry. Terry runs a site called checkpointusa.com. Org, I was close. Checkpointusa.org. Now, you go to the Checkpoint USA, this started back in December of '02 when he was accosted by the man because he travels to Kitt Peak, the observatory outside of Tucson, as part of his job. He's scanning the skies, making sure we don't die, okay? I mean, he works at the University of Arizona, goes to Kitt Peak, making sure that, space, we'll get him to give us some details on that, but in his job, he has to travel across an Indian reservation down there, Tohono O'odham Reservation, where they were testing out everything. This became very obvious that you think they just all of a sudden explode with scanners at the airports and roadblocks and all this kind. They got to test it, man. Got to have the equipment. Got to have the people. Got to see, what kind of I's we got to dot and T's crossing so we can get away with this police state thing. Well, Terry recognized it right away. So what he did, he tells us his story here a little bit, but I tell you, we got involved in this thing. We were using his experiences to educate people on the radio. We were doing it on Freedom's Phoenix. Mark Victor got to play attorney. Terry took it all the way to the Ninth Circuit. Now, and he won. They say, oh, yeah, we're going to find your favor a little bit over here. But what kind of impact did that have? What have we learned? Well, if you want to know what's going on, you go to checkpointusa.org. All these videos you see from 4409 and Pastor Anderson and people around the country doing all this, can I go, am I being detained stuff. Where do you think that all started? And I'm sure Terry was influenced by a lot of other people, but he had been doing this and videotaping to the point. A lot of the way that we structure Freedom's Phoenix is because of Terry Bressi's efforts. When you put this stuff up on YouTube, who's complaining? Oh, you got the Union, Border Patrol, we rule you people, going, oh, you got to take this down. Oh, we want to get him fired. Oh, we want to, every which way they could, they contact us. I said, you know what? We'll just take the files and we'll create it in such a way that we can load video on the Freedom's Phoenix servers and say, hello, come to us. We want to play. And they don't want to play anymore. So this is a lot of how we structured it was for us to be able to have content like Terry's so that it could not be taken down without, I got to get the 45 to my forehead. Show me a court order. Let's go talk this out. Let's get to court, man. Let's rock and roll. And we have attorneys ready to do it. In fact, they were already Terry Bressi attorneys before. So let me introduce you to my good friend and hardcore, before hardcore was popular, activist, Terry Bressi. I got you there, Terry?
Yeah, it's great to be here, Ernie.
You know, I know you're real busy, and so am I. And a lot of times we don't have time to get caught up until we get you on the air. So I'm going to need you to get me caught up here. We got a few minutes before the first break. I want you to take the opportunity to just share with the audience and expand on what I just told them, how you got started on this and what motivated you and what happened.
Oh, sure thing. I've always been an advocate for privacy and privacy rights and the right to travel. And it was, pretty clear decades ago that those rights were being slowly at times and very quickly at other times being encroached upon by the government, be it local, state, or federal. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your point of view, I have to do a lot of travel for my work, and I travel out on highways and remoter sections of the state. And as you were indicating there, that's where they like to test out a lot of techniques and procedures and processes and equipment to work out all the kinks before they go mainstream in larger community areas. So I've had a front row seat for quite a few years now to a lot of the shenanigans that take place, within 40 or 50 miles of the border in various jurisdictions around southern Arizona here.
Okay, now, so what is your job? I mean, you work, you're at a University of Arizona, you get your University of Arizona pickup, you're driving to Kitt Peak, and you're doing what? I mean, give me a 30-second.
Oh, sure. I'm an engineer for an astronomy research group at the University of Arizona's Lunar and Planetary Lab. We have a couple of telescopes up on Kitt Peak, and we use those telescopes to scan the night sky for asteroids and comets. And, of course, we specialize in those objects that may be a potential hazard to the planet at some point in the future that have orbits that could potentially intersect, the Earth's orbit. And so we scan the night skies. We collect information on various large rocks in the inner and outer solar systems, and we target them for follow-up observations, and we fine-tune the orbits and put out notices for other professional and amateur astronomers to do their own follow-up routines for these objects.
So if I'm really worried about, something that I'm really going to die, Terry Bressi says so, I take a lot more credence in what he says than, anybody else. Know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm glad you're there. Now, so in your travels, as you go across the desert, how many miles away is Kitt Peak from Tucson?
It's approximately 55 miles.
Okay, so it's not that far. I mean, it's an hour drive. You're going. But as you go there, you got to cross through an Indian reservation where they were testing this all out. So I want the people to understand that early on, right after 9/11, here comes the police state. We've been activists for a long time. We knew what was coming. And you said, oh, I see all the telltale signs here. What was it that you experienced that got you started on your legal process and creating your site?
Yeah, it was December 20th of 2002, late in the afternoon, early evening. I was coming home from a day's work up on Kitt Peak there. And I went around a bend, and down in about a mile or so in front of me, the highway was lit up like a Christmas tree there. At first, I was thinking it was an accident or something else, but as I got closer, I was seeing all sorts of different jurisdictions there. There was Tohono O'odham Police Department, U.S. Border Patrol, U.S. Customs, and they were all working the front line. And and being concerned about these issues, I had been educating myself with regards to the legal issues, how checkpoints must be conducted in order to conform with what the U.S. Supreme Court considers constitutional. And so as I was coming up on it, I knew that it was problematic right away because I was seeing both federal and local jurisdictions working the front line. And if you know anything about checkpoint law, then you know that that's, unless there's really something exceptional taking place, then it's probably not being done legitimately. So I was stopped. I asked a couple of questions to the on-scene commander who was with the tribal police. I said, well, what's going on here? He said, well, it's a sobriety checkpoint, and we're, treating everybody the same, asking the same questions, and we want to know if you're drunk.
No, we'll go ahead and finish right there when we come back. This is good. You pull up, and they say, it's sobriety, and we need the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol to, smell your breath.
Right,
really?
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's what we're going to be talking about. We'll pick it up there when we come back here after the break on Declare Your Independence. My good friend Terry Bressi, checkpointusa.org. We'll be right back.